So I'm recording this at home because it was windy out on the frozen river. And the topic of today's video is, I guess, it's my take on some musical truth that the likes of Mark Devlin haven't spotted. So the gist of it is that some music kind of foreshadows events, important events in the future. And Mark's take on it is that these people are insiders, and what they're doing is doing this thing called predictive programming, which is the idea that you can, if you tell people before a big event happens, they're more likely to accept it. And obviously we're talking about the fake flag. I'm not using the word false there because this video will just get flagged up. So don't go writing, oh, it's not fake flag. It's anyway, you get the idea. So the example I'm going to use is a band from Manchester called The Fall. And they had some pretty interesting lyrics that did foreshadow some important events. So let's start off with one. So one from 1996. So 5 days before, there was a big bomb attack in Manchester on June the 15th, 1996, and it was allegedly carried out by the IRA. Of course, these days, you know, we don't really know who did it, do we? We could probably have a good guess who did it. It was probably one of these fake flag attacks. Anyway, 5 days before this attack, The Fall, this band from Manchester, released an LP called The Light User Syndrome. And on that LP, there was a song called Powder Keg. And the lyrics, it says, you better listen to me. This town is a powder keg. I had a dream, bruised and coloured, it's going to hurt me. Manchester city centre. That's where the bomb went off. And then it just continues, you know, you better listen to me. This town, it's a powder keg. So at the time, there was a lot of, some of the newspapers picked up on this. And this is some quotes, actually, that came from Mark Smith at the time. And he says, Mark Smith was the guy who wrote the lyrics, and he was the singer, the lead singer in The Fall. So he says, I've got a funny story to tell you, he admits, about the song Powder Keg on the last LP, The Light User Syndrome. It was about the Manchester bombing and all that. The son kept ringing me up going, it's really weird, this song of yours, Manchester's a powder keg. It was typical Sun stuff. They don't get off the bleeding phone. So they were hassling Mark Smith. I'm going, well, it's a song I wrote. And they go, well, it's funny that a bomb in Manchester went off last week and you actually said Manchester is a powder keg. How did you know about it? It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and you also wrote this song about Terry Waite years ago. The song was called Terry Waite Says. And Terry Waite was a guy who was, I'm not sure if he was Catholic or he was Protestant theologian, and he was basically held hostage for a very, very long time. Anyway, The Fall had written a song about Terry Waite before he became quite an infamous hostage. And anyway, so Mark Smith, he carries on and says, about this song Terry Waite Says. I'm going, yeah, you know, and they started insinuating that I had inside information. It's funny that you knew about Terry Waite's kidnapping in the song Terry Waite Says in 1986. And then you wrote this song called Powder Keg about the Manchester bombing. And I'm thinking that I'm talking to people like you, but I'm talking to some slime, you know. And I'm going, well, I don't know why it happened. Maybe I'm prophetic, like a prophecy, you know, because I was psychic when I was a teenager. They say, so you were psychic about Terry Waite. Now you're psychic about the Manchester bomb. I'm going, yeah, get off the phone. I've got things to do. I've got my life to lead, and I don't want to talk to you. So then the Daily Bleep Star gets in on the act. Oh, you're the man who knew about Terry Waite and the Manchester bomb. And then Marky Smith basically said, well, I'm effing psychic, F off. So that's back in 1996. So then, if we flash forward to 2017, there was the Ariana Grande concert at Manchester Arena. And there again, we had an alleged, let's call it an errorist event there. And The Fall released a song. It was on an LP called New Facts Emerge. And it was released a couple of days after this Ariana Grande concert at Manchester Arena. So those of you who know anything about music, it takes months and months and months to write songs, let alone record and produce them. And then you've got another time lag, in terms of getting CDs and I guess maybe some these days, even some vinyl pressed up. So there was no way that Marky Smith was able to produce a song called the Victoria Train Station Massacre after the actual error event took place. So again, for those of you that know, the Manchester Arena is directly above Victoria Train Station in Manchester. So again, quite interesting lyrics. Marky Smith says, "We had no residence." The official story is that it was somebody who was new to the country, wasn't it? We had no reservation. We had no pre-book. I crave drama. So a lot of people will say, "Oh, this thing, right? It wasn't exactly as it was portrayed to be." People like Richard D. Hall. And then Marky Smith basically sings Victoria Station Massacre over and over again. So so basically from a music magazine called Clash, it said one immediate talking point is the track Victoria Train Station Massacre off New Facts Emerge LP, which eerily echoes the suicide bombing in Manchester last week at the Ariana Grande concert at Manchester Arena. A source at Cherry Red confirmed to this magazine called The Clash that the track is an unfortunate coincidence. The track was recorded and the artwork sent off for manufacture long before the terrible events in Manchester. So basically a press officer made clear that the track had been titled a long time before the tragic events took place at the station's sister building, the Arena. Though Mark was unhappy, this is Marky Smith, with having this pointed out, confirming he was asked if he wanted the title changed, the title of the song. Marky Smith said at the time, "It's not your effing job," and he was disgusted with me. I just said Victoria Butterfly then, butterfly suitcase. Yeah, you shouldn't have to deal with it, and that is the problem nowadays. You spend more time getting things back to what they were. So butterfly, they talk about MK Ultra there, don't they? So you've got on two occasions. Then you've got Marky Smith writing songs about things that go boom, errorist attacks before they happen. So is that a coincidence? Another thing to add then is Mark Devlin's hypothesis is that these people are insiders, and it's predictive programming. But I think there's maybe another angle here, is that maybe some people do have some sort of connection and are able to see what's coming in the future. Some other examples of I think, some pretty good prophetic lyrics from Mark Smith. He did, and this is one of his later ones, he did an LP called Sublingual Tablet. And the tablet really was it was referring to like iPads, but it was also like a play on words, in that tablet is like a drug too. So, the addictive nature of like touchscreen devices. And then obviously the sublingual is that these devices stop people's linguistic development often, don't they? Especially with young kids. And on this LP, Sublingual Tablet, there's a song called Quit iPhone. And again, there's some very interesting lyrics. My eye muscle is bright in the light of disenfranchisement. Why don't you leave it alone? Why just you can't quit that iPhone? Just quit your phone, iPhone. Oh, I don't want to look in people's homes. Just leave it alone. Stop looking at iPhone. Stop looking at iPad phone. So I thought, again, pretty astute social commentary, really. Then back in 1992, they produced a CD called Code Selfish, and there was a song there called Free Range. So this wasn't that long, 3 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall. So in this song, he's basically talking about how the fall of the wall was going to lead to a lot of people moving because the wall had come down. So, he's talking faction Europa. So Europa splitting into different factors or factions. Moravia trouble, Moldavia, Europa, every third world Europa. It pays to talk to no one, free range. So, yeah, I think we've seen that, aren't we, during our lifetimes, the last 5 years, particularly in Britain. There's a lot of people who have used their kind of the roaming free range into Britain. And then the last one is they did a song called Telephone Thing. And the lyrics here, I hear you listening in, telephone thing. How dare you assume I want to parlez-vous with you? But I'm tapped. So again, he's like, alluding to the fact this is around about the same time, late 90s actually, 1989, even back then, that the security forces are tapping into people's phones in Britain. So make of all of that what you will. One thing is for certain is that numerous musical artists have produced songs with lyrics that have foreshadowed events, dramatic events that have turned out to be true. Now, one last time, is this all about predictive programming? I would say mostly it is, but there are some examples, and I think here we've got an example of Mark Smith from The Fall, who was actually, I'm not going to use the word psychic because I'm a Christian, but basically maybe he was just really good at, I think Gerald Celente once said, if you extrapolate the trends of today, you can see into the future. And I think that's what Mark Smith was. He used to spend a lot of time in pubs talking with random people. And I think that gave him great insights. He was a very observant person, observing how people were behaving, what they were talking about. And I think that gave him insights. He was open-minded as well. So, as I say, I hope you enjoyed that. So, God bless.